us.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's Qubit Tech Talk. Today, I'm very fortunate to have Perry Carell from Extreme Networks. Perry is the Director of Product Marketing at Extreme. Hey, Perry.
Hey, Ryan, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm
Ab-
looking forward to talking about Wi-Fi.
Absolutely. So I met Perry in July of 2019. We were kind of talking about that before we started recording here, that seems like a lifetime ago. Um, but I met Perry. Extreme did a day at Wrigley Field because Extreme does the Wi-Fi at Wrigley Field, and it was a non-game day, and we were able to have a nice tech session and then go see some of the Wi-Fi in action, kind of behind the scenes, and it was really cool for people that are interested in Wi-Fi. But today we're going to talk about Wi-Fi 6, right? So, Perry, would you just start out by kind of giving us an update on where Wi-Fi 6 is today?
All right. And once again, thank you for inviting me. One of my other roles is I actually am the interface, the liaison to the IEEE and the Wi-Fi Alliance. So I get involved with a lot of this type stuff, what's going on. But Wi-Fi 6, a year ago, Wi-Fi 6 was still kind of the shiny object. We're still trying to market it. Now it's actually fallen into the default mode that it is, it's not like it's a premium to pay for it or anything. And it's the common one out there, the new generation of devices, the majority of them supported, especially the phones type stuff. So we're seeing the phones turn over very, very quickly, typically because of the younger generation, about every 12 or 18 months. So we're seeing a lot of growth in the 11AX capable devices when we're looking at the network, especially like when you were just managed and people going to public venues like a ballpark, we see a tremendous high percentage of 11AX versus laptops or tablets in an enterprise.
Right, right. So, do so as companies kind of look out across the landscape, right? So they have some Wi-Fi 5, right? And they're contemplating possibly moving to Wi-Fi 6, or not necessarily companies, but schools or enterprises in general. Why should a company consider moving to Wi-Fi 6?
There's a really good reason to move to Wi-Fi 6. And the problem with it right now is us as vendors. For the last 10, 12 years, every time there's a new Wi-Fi technology, it's like, oh, it's the greatest thing in the world. It's going to solve all your problems. It's going to give you enormous amount of bandwidth. So whether it's 11A, B, G, N, AC, it was all the same. So now we come to partners, we come to customers and say, hey, I got this great new technology. You need to buy this. And they go, yeah, I've heard that before. What's different about Wi-Fi 6, and I know you've heard this before, and I do have marketing in my title, is it is totally different than the previous ones. Yeah, I know you've heard that before. Previous wireless technologies, all of them from the very beginning, only one person talks at a time. And it's important to understand that even though I've got 10 or 20 or 100 or 200 users associated to a single access point, associated to a single radio, only one gets to talk at a time. And I use all different types of quality service to decide who should talk first, whatever. What Wi-Fi 6 does is it changed all that. It uses something called OFDMA, orthogonal frequency division with multiple access. You sound really smart when you talk about it. But what it allows me to do is actually talk to multiple devices simultaneously. So instead of like in a nurse call system, which is really time sensitive, instead of talking to, I could talk to a dozen at the same time or even more. So it actually does give me network efficiency. It is actually different. Your techie people, which I am one of them, kind of freak out if you say it's like wireless switching, but it actually is. It allows me to talk to more than one device at a time on the same radio. So it is really different, and it offers tremendous value going forward and efficiency to your network.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So that's cool.
It's a
Okay.
huge deal, and the problem
Yeah.
is we've it's the boy that cried wolf. Every
Right.
18 months we give you a new technology. This one really is different.
Right. Okay. So after Wi-Fi, so what's next, right? So, and don't tell me 7, right? So, but like, what's next out there after Wi-Fi 6?
That's actually an important point to understand because Wi-Fi is a continual evolution. I mean, we've gone through 11 and then 11 A, B, G, N, AC Wave 1, AC Wave, Wi-Fi 6. What we're doing now is what's coming along now is what's called Wi-Fi 6E. It's Wi-Fi 6 operating on the 6 gigahertz spectrum. And that's what
Okay.
the FCC is just opening that up. It's not quite there yet. We're getting closer every day. But what that gives us is about 1,200 megahertz worth of more spectrum.
Yep.
Now, if you read the white papers, it says it doubles the amount of available spectrum for Wi-Fi. That's actually a little bit of a lie. It actually quadruples it, because if you look at what's of the um productive Wi-Fi spectrum, because I don't have to deal with DFS, I don't have to deal with all this other stuff. So I'm actually getting about 4 times more usable spectrum with 6E, and the only devices that are going to be allowed to operate in the 6 gigahertz space is Wi-Fi 6 devices. So it's going to be much cleaner spectrum, a lot more bandwidth, and faster devices. I mean, it's the perfect storm.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I got to
And
tell, there is a Wi-Fi 7. We're not going to go there. It's years
okay,
and years away, but it's going to continue to evolve.
sure. And so the Wi-Fi 6, not 6E, the Wi-Fi 6 is working on 5 gigahertz?
Working on 5 or 2.4. Both,
Right. Okay.
the
Gotcha. Yep.
2.4 has been around for a while. With
Yep.
Wi-Fi 4, they actually didn't support 2.4, but Wi-Fi 5
Gotcha.
they didn't. But yeah, so now we're going to have 2.4, 5, and 6, and you're going to use them all. A
Yes.
lot of people are negative towards 2.4, but it propagates a long way, so there's huge
Absolutely.
value in it. You just need to
Absolutely.
design it properly. Use people like you to actually help design your
Yeah.
network.
Right. Well, not me specifically, but the people at Qubit for sure. So, well, Perry, that was fantastic. I certainly appreciate you making some time today. I'm not sure when this airs, but we're recording it on a Friday afternoon, and so I certainly appreciate you carving out a little time for us today. And it's great to see you again.
No, fantastic. And one of the things, if we got some time, I want to
Yeah.
mention one other thing. One of the arguments, or one of the marketing stuff out there, is 5G versus Wi-Fi. It's
Right.
not an argument. It's not valid. They're both going to coexist. It's kind of like saying, do I want to buy a car or a pickup truck? They kind of do different things. They're going to
Right.
coexist. Right now, there's about 14.5 billion Wi-Fi devices out there. They're predicting within the next 4 to 5 years is going to be 1.5 billion 5 gigahertz, 5G devices. It's not going to replace it. They're actually going to
Yeah.
coexist
Right.
forever. I mean, your phone might be using 5G, but think about your laptop, your tablet,
Right.
your Ring doorbell, your
Yes.
TV. They're not going to be on
Exactly.
5G. So once
Yeah.
again, they're both going to exist. Most reputable people will say they're going to work together. If somebody's talking to you and saying, 5G is going to replace Wi-Fi, they really, ultimate marketing. They really
Yeah.
don't know what they're
Right.
talking about.
Right. No, that's a great point to bring up. I certainly appreciate you bringing that up because I agree with you. I mean, wholeheartedly, like they're going to coexist. I mean, not that unlike they coexist today, right? So
Exactly.
cellular and Wi-Fi coexist today. They're both just going to get faster and better and more efficient.
Exactly. And there's different use cases for,
Right.
Wi-Fi, where it works much, much better than 5G. You're driving down the road in your car, that's going to be cellular. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I could
exactly.
theoretically do it with Wi-Fi, but it doesn't
Right,
make sense to do that. So
right.
once again, you use them both where they fit the best.
Yep, that makes sense. All right. Well, thanks again, Perry. We'll see you soon.
My pleasure.